people define themselves by their lowest moment often. And when you have been a person that sleeps on the street, it's that lack of self-worth, this identifying yourself as a complete and total failure. It's very difficult to escape that, especially when you compare yourself to these people that, they show up for work at their tech job and they have this normal existence. And
they're all looking down on you and treating you with disrespect.
Right.
And you're living in the streets. It's cold, it's rainy, it's whatever. You're obviously worthless.
Yes.
There's nobody that's reinforcing the fact that you have any worth at all.
Right.
It's just going to take you down further.
And it's probably come from your childhood of being treated as worthless and abused. And
but you asked me like how I can go down to Skid Row and do this. I've done it every day for over 3 years. I think the fact that I am not tempted by these things. Like you could put crack, fentanyl, and crystal meth right here, and they would sit here for 3 weeks, and I wouldn't even touch them.
What about 4 weeks?
4 weeks is when I give in.
I just kidding.
They'll all be gone in the fourth week.
My fear about all those things, like I've never tried cocaine, I've never tried amphetamines, and one of the reasons why is like, it seems like people love them. That's part of the problem. Is I think the thrill of whatever it is that those things give people.
I think one of the reasons my channel is so popular is because there are a hell of a lot of people who are using some of these drugs and being functional in the real world.
I think that's true, but I also think it's just fascinating. I mean, I don't use those things, and I'm fascinated by your channel. I mean, it's just the human condition is very fascinating to people because we recognize all these elements in ourselves, maybe to a lesser degree, or maybe you only have an addiction to pornography, or maybe you only have an addiction to gambling, but you see a person who's hooked on meth.
They're all the same.
And it's kind of, there's parallels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you can. There was one addict a gambler who turned into a heroin addict.
Wow.
He was a big time gambler, big time in New York City.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I interviewed him this summer, and he switched his gambling addiction to a heroin addiction. It's like
the gambling one is wild. And that's,
gambling is fascinating to me.
That's another one that I encountered when I was in the pool halls. People that were just absolutely just captured by gambling. And I never thought of gambling as being an addiction. I thought of gambling as being just a weird weakness that people do to escape their life, and they just get into it. But then I saw the actual like chemical response these people have to winning and losing and chasing money, and this constant. It becomes their whole life is trying to win a bet and trying to play and trying to recover from a bad bet, and then trying to avoid people they owe money to.
There's so many addictions out there.
There's so many.
Whether it's sex or shopping or gambling or eating or laziness or
procrastination,
heroin, drinking.
Yeah, even exercise, which is like a great addiction.
That's my addiction, but
that's a good one.
It's not killing me.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that one. That one seems to actually improve the quality of your life, but it has characteristics of impulsiveness.
Yeah, when I go to Gold's Gym every morning at 5:30, I'll bet you more than half of the people that are there. It's the same crew every morning. We all know each other. I'll bet you half of them are former addicts.
Really?
Of some sort.
Well, that's a lot of people that get into like running, marathon runners and triathletes and ultra runners. They substitute this very positive addiction, the addiction of like overcoming and just pushing your body.
Humans are wound up.
Yeah.
I know I am. And it's like I'm never going to run a marathon. It's not my thing. But you see people who are running marathons. I'm just like, what? Why?
Right. Why?
Why would you run 26 miles? Everything's going to hurt after that.
Yeah.
But we have this drive to do something extreme. It seems. Call it self-destruction. I don't know what you want to call it. Self-sabotage maybe. But so many of them are former alcoholics, and they put that aside and they found this new obsession. You can't just stop drinking and be like, I'm cool now. I don't drink anymore.
Right.
It's like you need to find something to replace that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what people they realize that eventually. I mean, I know so many people that went to Alcoholics Anonymous and then they became hooked on coffee and cigarettes. And the coffee and cigarettes, they said this is okay.
Yeah, well, that's not as bad.
It's not killing me as quickly, and it's not forcing me to lose jobs, and I can function in society with this. And then,
But my mind has opened tremendously from when I started this. Like I really consider when I started it, maybe, I kind of started, and I've had 3 studios down on Skid Row, but the first one I had for 3 years and I gave it up. had to mess up my life with the divorce and other stuff. And then I had another one and got rid of that one. But the third one I've had now for almost 4 years. But I had a friend of mine who realized my channel is what I'm doing now. And she goes, she's known me for a long time. And she goes, I remember driving with you through LA. We're going to a restaurant. And you saw some homeless guy begging on the street corner, hassling you for money. And you said under your breath, just get a job.
Oh, boy. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Get a job.
Do you want some coffee?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
That used to be me.
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of us.
Yeah.
I still say it. Sometimes these guys come at me and they just, every day of the year, they're coming at me for free handouts.
Yeah.
I mean, I give away, I hate to tell you how much money I give out. Every single day of the year, I'm giving between $2,000 and $3,000.
Really?
Just giving out money.
Wow.
Not like fucking Santa Claus, but
I know
like,
what you're saying.
but like, sometimes it's paying interviewees. Sometimes it's paying the person who brought me the interviewee. Sometimes it's the people who keep it quiet outside my studio door. Sometimes it's, I'm a square white dude. I go into South Central to I interview a lot of the prostitutes on Figueroa Street, which is not Skid Row. It's South Central LA, very different neighborhood, but equally dangerous, probably more dangerous, in fact. I used to go down there and like, I'm worried about getting killed. People get killed there every day. There's gangs are thick.
Yeah.
And they see a white guy, I'm either a cop, I'm either an undercover cop, or I'm a trick.
Right.
And if I'm a trick, that means you can rob me.
Right.
It's like open season. Just come. I got a wallet full of money that I'm looking to spend on a girl, but they're going to hustle me or con me or rob me.
Right.
And the way that I can continue to do this, almost 3.5 years now, and do it fairly safely, is by spreading so much goodwill. Like, I'm generous with these people I interview, and I'm generous with the pimps, and I'm generous with the gangs that control the neighborhoods, or whatever I have to do in order to go down there safely and not get hassled.
Yeah.
So I've and especially on Skid Row, I've handed out so much over the years that I'm like, I won't tell you what they call me, but it's a positive thing, because I'm like Santa Claus down there.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, you got to get out of this. You can't keep doing this.
No. I think I mean, the human struggle is fascinating.
Yes.
It's not just drug addicts. Part of the reason I'm just doing drug addicts is because I'm in LA and Skid Row is right here. If I don't think about it, I'll just go to Skid Row and I'll get some interviews.
Yeah.
So now I'm making a serious effort to not do that.
Have you thought about escaping LA?
Oh yeah, I've been all over the country. For Create Equal, I went to each of the lower 48 states. So I mean, I just came back from New Orleans.
What is Created the book?
That's the book I did of American portraits.